Sri Lanka welcomes the reports of Professor Alston and Professor Took, especially in the context of the former's insights into witch hunts. We are especially grateful to the latter for not getting involved in the collective démarche of her colleagues in February. We hope that the vulgar generalizations or sweeping criticisms, to use a transatlantic formulation, made last week, though purportedly on behalf of all special rapporteurs, need not seem to Professor Took to fall within the scope of her mandate. With regard to Professor Alston, we are glad that finally we met him at length yesterday to discuss our concerns and also to request his assistance for positive work, for which we have at last got support from the Office of the High Commissioner, a full 3 years after Professor Alston made his recommendations. I am sorry we met with a categorical refusal for such assistance 2 years ago when the witch hunt began, in an effort to establish an Office of the High Commissioner in Sri Lanka that precluded other forms of assistance. We are sorry too that what should have been a fruitful relationship with Professor Alston, who is always entertaining and also instructive in spite of his broad brushstrokes, was ruined by the leaking of his initial report 3 years ago. We totally accept his assurance that he was not responsible for the leak, but we request once again that that leak be investigated. We also request that the suppression of positive reports on Sri Lanka by the office be investigated. And I hope, Mr. President, that you will be able to use your influence with the office to ensure that such delinquencies are not swept under the carpet. With regard to actual work, we were delighted to find that Professor Alston's recommendations and those of Professor Novak, the Special Rapporteur on Torture, who has always been helpful, were congruent with some of those of the Task Force on Human Rights Training for the Police. Despite long bureaucratic delays in Geneva, we were able to run a preliminary course with the support of excellent consultants from South Africa and the United Kingdom just last week, and we hope that the latter will now at least support further work in this field. That would be a suitable initiative for the Donor Police Support Group, which did little, except for some excellent help from the Swedish government, to justify its continuing existence over several years. Mr. President, with the elimination of the most dangerous terrorist forces from our soil, we can now concentrate more on eliminating some of the problems we have had to face in recent years in upholding human rights. Not only human rights training, but training in professional techniques and in language to ensure responsiveness to all our citizens is essential. We hope then that instead of further witch hunts, we will have positive dialogue and concerted support in areas in which we can see deficiencies. I am sure that, with his deep concern for witches, Professor Alston will prove able to restrain his colleagues from further depredation.